Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1, most people don't look twice at a quarter. It's something we use every day, something we drop into vending machines or leave behind in a cup holder. But sometimes, the most ordinary coin can carry an extraordinary story. Today, we're uncovering the surprising details behind the United States of America Washington State Quarter Dollar 2022 P, a modern coin that many people already have, yet very few truly understand. This coin isn't just spare change. It represents history, artistry, innovation, and a growing interest among collectors who are starting to pay close attention to modern US quarters. And by the end of this video, you may never look at your pocket change the same way again. The Washington State Quarter from 2022 was issued as part of the United States Mint's continuing effort to celebrate American identity through coinage. Although Washington State was originally honored in the Classic State Quarters program back in 2007, the 2022 P quarter belongs to a newer generation of coins that reflects modern minting techniques and evolving collector demand. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the small P mint mark, this quarter was produced with precision that sets it apart from earlier circulating coins. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest mint in the United States, and coins bearing the P carry a long legacy of craftsmanship and national pride. On the obverse side, the coin features the iconic portrait of George Washington. But this isn't the same design people grew up with for decades. The 2022 portrait presents Washington in a sharper, more sculpted style, based on historical artwork that gives the image a refined and dignified appearance. The level of detail in the hair, facial structure, and clothing shows how modern engraving technology has transformed even everyday coinage into miniature works of art. The inscriptions are clean and bold, with crisp lettering that reflects high production standards. When viewed under magnification, the surfaces reveal fine details that often go unnoticed by the casual observer. This is where collectors begin to see value, not just in rarity, but in quality. The reverse side is where the Washington State identity truly comes alive. The design pays tribute to the natural beauty, cultural heritage, and spirit of the state. Washington is known for its dramatic landscapes, evergreen forests, mountains, and strong connection to innovation and exploration. These themes are subtly woven into the design, making the coin more than just metal. It's a story captured in nickel-clad copper. What makes the 2022 P Washington quarter especially interesting is the era in which it was produced. Modern coins face challenges that older coins never did. Rising production demands, faster minting speeds, and circulation mean that high-quality examples are becoming harder to find than people realize. Many coins from this year entered circulation during a time of increased handling and reduced coin usage, which affects long-term condition. Collectors are now paying closer attention to modern quarters because pristine examples are disappearing faster than expected. Coins with sharp strikes, flawless surfaces, strong luster, and no contact marks are becoming increasingly desirable, especially when preserved right after release. Another layer of fascination comes from potential mint anomalies. While not common, modern coins can still display striking errors. Slight off-center strikes, weak areas, die chips, or unusual surface textures can transform a regular quarter into a highly collectible piece. These variations are often missed by the public but quickly recognized by experienced collectors. Professional grading plays a major role in value. A 2022 P Washington quarter that appears ordinary at first glance can become something special once authenticated and graded. Coins that receive high mint state grades are separated from the millions that look similar but lack the same quality. It's also important to understand that collector interest evolves. What seems common today can become sought after tomorrow. History has shown that modern US coins, once ignored, often gain attention as time passes and surviving top-grade examples shrink in number. The Washington quarter of 2022 represents a moment in American coinage where tradition meets modern design. It's a reminder that even in an age of digital payments, physical money still carries meaning, artistry, and potential value. Now comes the part everyone waits for, the question of worth. Most examples you'll encounter are still considered face value coins. However, certified high-grade specimens and verified error examples have already proven that this coin can command serious attention in the collector market. At public auction, a top-graded 2022 P Washington State quarter has achieved a recorded auction price of over $1,200, driven by condition, rarity at that grade, And competitive bidding among collectors. That's the power of condition, timing, and knowledge. Top 2. Today, we're slowing down and taking a closer look at a coin that connects modern America with its revolutionary roots, the United States of America Washington quarter featuring Connecticut and the year 1788. This coin is not just money. It is a tribute to one of the original states that shaped the nation, and it represents freedom, resilience, and the birth of American self-government. By the end of this video, you'll understand why collectors pay attention to this quarter and why its value depends on far more than its face value. The Connecticut quarter was released as part of the legendary 50-state quarters program, a historic initiative by the U.S. Mint that ran from 1999 to 2008. This program changed the way people looked at coins. Suddenly, quarters were no longer just everyday change, they became storytellers, each one honoring a state's identity, culture, and contribution to American history. Connecticut holds a special place in that story. The year 1788, proudly displayed on the coin, marks the year Connecticut became the fifth state to ratify the United States Constitution. This moment symbolized unity, trust in a new government, and the beginning of a shared American future. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, a design recognized around the world. But familiarity should not be mistaken for simplicity. Washington's image represents leadership, sacrifice, and the ideals that guided the formation of the United States. On modern quarters, his portrait is rendered with refined detail, reflecting decades of artistic refinement and minting expertise. Turn the coin over, and Connecticut's identity comes into sharp focus. The reverse design showcases the charter oak, one of the most famous trees in American history. This was not chosen at random. According to legend, Connecticut's royal charter was hidden inside this massive oak tree in 1687 to protect it from being seized by the English governor. The charter oak became a powerful symbol of liberty, self-rule, and resistance to tyranny. That symbolism gives this quarter emotional weight. It is not just honoring a state, it is honoring the idea that freedom must sometimes be protected quietly, courageously, and at great personal risk. The artistry of the tree itself is impressive. The spreading branches, strong trunk, and balanced composition create a sense of strength and permanence. Beneath the image, the name of the state and the year 1788 anchor the design firmly in history, reminding us that modern America rests on deep roots. Millions of Connecticut quarters were minted, which leads many people to assume the coin has no value beyond 25 cents. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity is only one piece of the puzzle. Condition, demand, preservation, and grading all play a critical role in determining worth. Most Connecticut quarters entered circulation immediately. They were handled, scratched, dropped, stacked, and spent. As a result, truly pristine examples are far less common than people realize. Coins with full luster, sharp details, clean surfaces, and no visible damage stand apart from the rest. Collectors often search for quarters that appear almost untouched by circulation. These coins may have been pulled from rolls early or carefully stored for years. Over time, as damaged examples dominate circulation, high-quality survivors become more desirable. Another layer of interest comes from minting variations. Connecticut quarters were produced at different mints, and subtle differences in strike quality can affect collector appeal. Some coins display stronger details in the tree branches and leaves, while others appear softer due to minting pressure or dye wear. Occasionally, errors add even more intrigue. Off-center strikes, dye chips, doubled elements, or unusual surface textures can transform an otherwise common coin into a unique collectible. These anomalies are accidental, but collectors prize them because no two error coins are exactly alike. Professional grading is where value truly becomes defined. When a Connecticut quarter is evaluated, authenticated, and graded by a respected grading service, it enters a different category entirely. High mint state grades separate exceptional coins from ordinary ones, and the price difference can be dramatic. It's also important to understand the emotional factor. State quarters brought millions of new collectors into the hobby. Many people collect them not just for profit, but for nostalgia, education, and national pride. Connecticut's deep historical symbolism makes this quarter especially appealing to history lovers and early state enthusiasts. Over time, interest in the 50-state quarters program has continued to grow. What was once considered a modern novelty is slowly becoming a historical series of its own. As years pass, demand for top-condition examples increases while supply steadily declines. Now we arrive at the question everyone asks: what is it actually worth? In everyday condition, the Connecticut quarter remains face value. But when condition, rarity at high grade, and collector competition come together, the story changes. At public auction, a professionally graded, top-condition Connecticut Washington quarter has achieved an auction price of over $3,000, driven by exceptional preservation and intense collector demand. That is the hidden power of history, condition, and patience, all captured in a single quarter. Top 3. Today, we're uncovering the fascinating story behind the United States of America Washington quarter dollar honoring South Dakota and the year 1889, a coin that quietly connects modern America to its rugged past. South Dakota's journey into the Union was forged through perseverance, open plains, and the promise of opportunity. The year 1889, displayed proudly on the coin, marks the moment South Dakota officially became a state. This was a time when the American frontier was still alive, when settlers, explorers, and dreamers pushed westward in search of land, freedom, and a better future. That historical weight is captured forever on this quarter. On the front of the coin, the familiar portrait of George Washington greets us. But this image is more than tradition. Washington represents leadership, unity, and the vision that guided the early United States. His presence on the coin ties the nation's founding ideals directly to the later expansion that brought states like South Dakota into the Union. The artistry of the Washington portrait has evolved over time, and on modern quarters, the fine details stand out. The lines of the face, the expression, and the balance of the design show the precision of modern minting while honoring centuries of American coinage tradition. Turning the coin over reveals a design that speaks directly to South Dakota's identity. The reverse celebrates the state's natural beauty and cultural heritage, often centered around iconic imagery associated with Mount Rushmore, native wildlife, and the vast open landscapes that define the region. South Dakota is a land of sweeping plains, dramatic rock formations, and deep historical roots tied to both Native American heritage and westward expansion. The symbolism behind the design reflects strength and endurance. South Dakota's history includes Native American nations, frontier settlements, and a deep connection to the land itself. The coin serves as a tribute to that layered history, blending natural imagery with historical significance in a way that resonates with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. When the South Dakota quarter was released as part of the 50-state quarters program, it instantly became part of a groundbreaking moment in U.S. coin history. This program transformed everyday change into a nationwide collecting phenomenon. Millions of Americans began saving quarters, studying designs, and learning state history one coin at a time. Because so many South Dakota quarters were minted, many people assumed the coin holds no value beyond face value. But the reality of coin collecting tells a very different story. While quantity matters, condition and quality matter even more. Most South Dakota quarters entered circulation immediately. They were used in commerce, exposed to scratches, edge nicks, and surface wear. Over time, truly well-preserved examples became far less common than expected. Coins with sharp design details, full mint luster, and clean surfaces are increasingly difficult to locate. Collectors pay close attention to these details. The clarity of the design, the strength of the strike, and the overall eye appeal can separate an ordinary quarter from a highly desirable collectible. Even subtle differences can dramatically impact value. Another fascinating aspect of the South Dakota quarter lies in minting variations. Coins were struck at multiple U.S. mints, and differences in pressure, die condition, and production speed can result in noticeable variations. Some coins show crisp detail across the entire design, while others appear softer or uneven. Occasionally, minting errors add an extra layer of excitement. These may include off-center strikes, die cracks, missing elements, or doubled details. Such errors are accidental, unpredictable, and highly sought after. To collectors, an error coin represents something truly unique, a one-of-a-kind snapshot of the minting process. Professional grading plays a crucial role in determining value. When a South Dakota quarter is certified and graded, it enters a different category altogether. High-grade coins are separated from the rest, and demand for these top examples can be intense. Over time, interest in the state quarters series has continued to grow. What began as a modern collecting trend is gradually becoming a historically significant series. As years pass, fewer pristine coins remain, and collectors compete for the best preserved examples. South Dakota's quarter stands out because of its powerful symbolism. The state represents endurance, independence, and the pioneering spirit. That emotional connection adds to the coin's appeal, especially among collectors who value historical meaning as much as rarity. Now we arrive at the question that always sparks curiosity: how much is it worth? In everyday circulated condition, the South Dakota quarter remains face value. But when exceptional preservation, rarity at high grade, and collector demand align, the value can rise dramatically. Top 4. Today, we're taking a deep journey into one of those stories through the United States of America. Washington quarter dollar honoring Vermont and the year 1791. This quarter represents far more than money. It represents independence, determination, and the moment a small but fiercely independent region officially joined a growing nation. Vermont's story is unlike that of any other state, and that uniqueness is exactly what makes this coin so fascinating to collectors. The year 1791, displayed on the coin, marks the moment Vermont became the 14th state of the United States. Before joining the Union, Vermont existed as its own independent republic for over a decade. It had its own constitution, its own laws, and even its own currency. That spirit of independence still defines Vermont today, and it's beautifully captured in the symbolism of this quarter. On the front of the coin, the familiar image of George Washington appears, steady and timeless. Washington's portrait serves as a reminder of the leadership that guided the nation through its earliest and most fragile years. His presence on the quarter ties the Revolutionary era directly to Vermont's entry into the Union, linking the fight for independence with the expansion of the United States. Modern minting techniques bring this portrait to life with remarkable clarity. The contours of Washington's face, the detail in his hair, and the balanced composition all reflect how far U.S. coinage has evolved while still honoring its roots. Even after decades of circulation, the strength of this design remains unmistakable. Turning the coin over reveals a design deeply connected to Vermont's identity. The reverse features imagery inspired by the state's natural beauty and agricultural heritage. Rolling hills, open fields, and strong rural symbolism reflect Vermont's long-standing connection to the land. Vermont has always been known for its farms, forests, and close-knit communities, and the coin captures that quiet strength perfectly. There's a sense of calm and balance in the design, reflecting the state's motto and its reputation for independence, simplicity, and resilience. Unlike grand monuments or dramatic imagery, Vermont's quarter focuses on values, self-reliance, harmony with nature, and perseverance. When the Vermont quarter was released as part of the historic 50-state quarters program, it quickly became a favorite among collectors who appreciated its understated elegance. The state quarters program itself transformed American coin collecting. For the first time in generations, everyday people began paying attention to the designs in their pocket change. Millions of Vermont quarters were produced, and that's why many people assume they are all common. But in the world of coin collecting, numbers don't tell the whole story. Condition is everything. Most Vermont quarters entered circulation immediately. They were used in stores, dropped on sidewalks, stacked in registers, and exposed to years of wear. As a result, truly high-quality examples are far scarcer than expected. Coins with full mint luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces stand out dramatically to experienced collectors. The details on the reverse are especially important. The clarity of the landscape elements, the sharpness of the lettering, and the overall eye appeal can make a major difference in desirability. Even small marks or weak strikes can lower a coin's grade significantly. Minting variations also add to the intrigue. Vermont quarters were produced at multiple U.S. mints, and subtle differences in strike strength and surface quality can be seen from coin to coin. Some examples show exceptionally crisp detail, while others appear softer due to die wear or production speed. Occasionally, collectors encounter mint errors that elevate the coin to a completely different level. These may include off-center strikes, die cracks, double details, or unusual surface textures. Error coins are accidental and unpredictable, which is exactly why collectors prize them so highly. Professional grading is often the turning point in a Vermont quarters journey. Once authenticated and graded, a coin's quality is locked in, and its place in the market becomes clear. High-grade examples are separated from the rest, and competition among collectors can be intense. Beyond condition and rarity, there's also emotional value. Vermont's story as a former independent republic gives this coin a unique narrative. Collectors who value history, early American statehood, and the ideals of independence often feel a strong connection to this quarter. As time passes, interest in the state quarters series continues to grow. What was once modern spare change is slowly becoming historical material. As fewer pristine examples remain, demand for top-condition Vermont quarters steadily increases. Now we arrive at the question everyone waits for, the value. In everyday circulated condition, a Vermont quarter is worth face value. But when exceptional preservation, rarity at high grade, and strong collector demand come together, the results can be remarkable. At public auction, a professionally graded, top-condition Vermont Washington quarter has recorded an auction price of over $5,000, driven by outstanding quality, rarity at that level, and competitive bidding among serious collectors. Top 6. Today, we're taking a deep and fascinating journey into the United States of America. Washington quarter dollar honoring Arizona and the year 1912, a coin that tells a powerful story of perseverance, identity, and the final chapter of America's continental expansion. Arizona's path to statehood was long and challenging. The year 1912, proudly displayed on this quarter, marks the moment Arizona became the 48th state of the United States. It was the last of the contiguous states to join the Union, completing the map of modern America. This alone gives the Arizona quarter a special place in U.S. history and a unique emotional appeal among collectors. The coin was released as part of the highly influential 50-state quarters program, a series that forever changed how Americans viewed their pocket change. For the first time in generations, everyday coins became miniature history lessons, each one honoring a state's culture, geography, and heritage. The Arizona quarter quickly stood out because of its bold imagery and instantly recognizable design. On the front of the coin, George Washington's portrait appears calm and dignified. His image represents unity, leadership, and the foundational values of the nation. Washington's presence on the coin connects Arizona's late statehood to the ideals established at the very beginning of the United States. It's a reminder that although Arizona joined later, it shares the same roots and principles as the original states. The craftsmanship of the obverse reflects decades of refinement in U.S. coinage. The balance of the portrait, the clarity of the inscriptions, and the smooth fields around the design all demonstrate the precision of modern minting. Even so, no two coins are exactly alike, and subtle differences matter greatly to collectors. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most striking reverse designs in the entire state quarter series. The Arizona quarter features the Grand Canyon, one of the most iconic natural wonders in the world. Carved over millions of years, the canyon represents time, endurance, and the raw power of nature. Its layered rock formations are captured with impressive depth and texture, giving the design a sense of scale that feels almost impossible on such a small surface. Above the canyon, a banner reads, Grand Canyon State, while in the foreground, a saguaro cactus stands tall. This detail is especially meaningful. The saguaro is native to the Sonoran Desert and symbolizes survival in one of the harshest environments in North America. Together, the canyon and cactus create a powerful contrast, vastness and resilience, perfectly reflecting Arizona's identity. The placement of the cactus in the foreground was a deliberate artistic choice, ensuring it wouldn't be mistaken for scenery from another state. It anchors the design unmistakably in Arizona, making this quarter instantly recognizable even at a glance. When the Arizona quarter entered circulation, millions were minted and distributed nationwide. At first glance, this might suggest the coin is common and not worth attention. But in the world of coin collecting, abundance does not automatically mean lack of value. Most Arizona quarters were used immediately. They circulated heavily, picking up scratches, edge nicks, and surface wear. Over time, coins with sharp details, strong luster, and clean surfaces became increasingly scarce. Collectors quickly learned that finding a truly high-quality example was far more difficult than expected. The Grand Canyon design demands a strong strike to show its full beauty. Weak strikes can cause the canyon walls to appear flat and lifeless, while strong strikes reveal depth, texture, and contrast. The cactus spines, lettering, and rock layers are all areas collectors examine closely. Minting variations also play a role. Arizona quarters were produced at different mints, and differences in strike quality and surface finish can be noticeable. Some coins exhibit exceptional clarity and brilliance, while others show softness or uneven details due to die wear. Rarer coins add yet another layer of intrigue. Though uncommon, some Arizona quarters display off-center strikes, die cracks, double details, or unusual surface textures. These mistakes occur during the minting process and are impossible to replicate, making them highly desirable to collectors who seek unique pieces. Professional grading is often the defining factor in determining worth. Once an Arizona quarter is authenticated and graded, its quality is permanently established. Coins that achieve top mint state grade stand apart from the rest and attract serious attention in the collector market. Beyond technical factors, there's an emotional connection to this coin. Arizona represents the closing chapter of America's westward expansion. Its landscapes, deserts, and canyons embody the frontier spirit more vividly than almost any other state. That symbolism resonates deeply with collectors, historians, and nature enthusiasts alike. As years pass, the state quarters program continues to mature. What once felt modern is slowly becoming historical. As fewer pristine examples remain, competition for the best Arizona quarters grows stronger. Now we come to the moment everyone waits for, the value. In typical circulated condition, an Arizona quarter remains worth face value. But when exceptional preservation, rarity at the highest grades, and strong collector demand come together, the results can be astonishing. At public auction, a professionally graded, top-condition Arizona Washington quarter has achieved an auction price of over $6,000, driven by its exceptional grade, striking visual appeal, and intense collector competition. That's the quiet power of history, nature, and craftsmanship, all captured in a single quarter that most people never think twice about.